on the mic is the NZ boss and his homie DJ NZ the odds. Yeah, don't twitch, don't snitch, don't switch. Just open up your senses. And now listen to the hour power.
Yo, what's up, everybody? We are back. Me and the DJ Bigwig. You there, bro?
I'm breathing. I've got a pulse. I am here.
It's good to be back, man, on the NZ Hour Power. We're bringing the podcast back. We've been missing for the last couple of months. So we're just going to fill you in on what we've been up to, what we're doing now, and where we're going. So let's get it started, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You've been gone for a while chasing your beauty career in a pair of leopard skin undies and makeup and extended eyelashes and hair perms. How'd that go for you, man?
Really, really good. Really, really good. Thanks, mate. You pretty much nailed it. I actually realized the first half of this year that I was turning 40. 3 or 4 months had gone by and I hadn't done anything or felt like I'd accomplished anything from a physique perspective after I won my WFF Pro Card last year. So I set the goal to be in the best possible shape of my life at 40. So that was the initial plan. And then, based on that, started training, getting a bit serious. You gave me a nutrition plan to stick to because you said I was too fat. I was in the low 90s, 92, 93 kgs at that stage. And then I said to Odette, I wouldn't mind being the face of Just for Men hair dye. And she's like, you're not serious. I go, I'm serious. If I let my hair go natty grey, I've got the look. I reckon I got the look. So that was the beginning of the prep. That was the goal and target in mind. And then while I was prepping and this and that, I had Mo Masawi, the NZIFBB president, sort of say, look, you look pretty good last year. You're in the WFF, you're a pro. Why don't you, see where you're at against the real pros and the real federation, the path to Olympia. Like, you talk about challenge yourself. I'm going to challenge you to come over to our federation and give it a crack. The door's always open. So off the base of that, we sort of worked out the IFBB Wellington show was around 12 weeks away. I gave you the SOS and said, let's crank it up and get me in shape. And that was sort of the start towards that journey.
Let's stop the burgers, SOS. Let's stop the pizza, SOS. Let's stop the donuts, SOS. That's the SOS you're talking about.
Well, the donuts and the pizza stopped, yes, but the burgers did not. So that was the first prep that we've ever done together that you've allowed me to have burgers, to have a cheat meal or have burgers, one burger as a cheat meal. We've usually, for the mental challenge, not had cheat meals. Like you and me have always said, it's mentally weak. If you're going to diet, it's about not only the physical side of it, but also the mental side of it, and it's the commitment to the discipline and the diet. That's another part of the challenge for you and me. So yeah, it was a different prep right from the start. And do you know what burger I had for my cheat meal?
Let me guess. A double cheeseburger. You're talking to the wrong person, man. I don't know anything about cheeseburgers or burgers or junk. What'd you have? Enlighten us.
Well, it was a double zinger burger from KFC without the bun. And I knew you wouldn't know the answer because I strategically did not tell you what my cheat meal was. I recall, Sully Chef being on the same prep for the same show with me, and we were all allowed one burger as a cheat meal on a Saturday and a Sunday. And he had this frickin' burger, bro, that was about 3,000 calories, buns, about 5 patties, bacon, all sorts of shit just hanging out from the sides. He posted on Instagram. Leaking, bro. And I messaged him straight away and I said, kiss goodbye your cheat meals. And what do you know? As soon as you saw that post, bro, boom. Later to your cheat meals, Sully.
It was gone.
It was gone. And he needed it to be gone too. But from my perspective, I stuck to the nutrition plan 100% like I always do. the Saturday and Sunday, I could replace one meal with a burger. That burger for me was the double zinger burger from KFC without the bread. So it was just basically 2 zinger burger patties, chicken patties with cheese and a little bit of hot sauce or whatever it was. And I can honestly say I ate more KFC in the first 8 weeks of that prep than what I'd eat in a whole year, because every Saturday and Sunday I had that exact same burger. But you know, from a mental perspective, it was quite refreshing. It was easy to get through the diet until the weekend. And when I had that burger, it satisfied my sort of cravings or needs. It was sort of like a little bit of a treat. But my progression, you know, my body fat percentage kept dropping. I was on target the whole way through. All the targets that you set, I met and reached, and I did it, you know, easily and comfortably. So it was pretty good, something different, and I enjoyed it.
Man, this is honestly the first time I'm learning about this. I feel like hanging up or crying, one of the two. I honestly did not know. But, yeah, so Shano wanted to do the comp in Wellington, and I think that was end of July this year. And 12 weeks into that, we started the prep. But something that's really interesting, when we used to prep back in the 2000s, I remember 05, 06, 07, so 2005, 6 and 7, we had no cheat meals. We said, let's just stay shredded all year round. And I don't even know how we did it, but we just did it. And
right.
we didn't believe in cheating back then.
We used to stay like under 5% body fat all year round. You know, we called ourselves self-proclaimed NWA, nothing without abs. Everyone thought we were trying to say we were niggers with attitude, but it meant something else. And
I was,
you know,
anyway. I was both NWA. You were half one.
You thought you were. You had a $200 car with a $10,000 sound system, but
that was badass too.
It's always Biggie and Puck blasting out too. But we used to legit go to the supermarket in those days, Odette and I, and you know, cans of tuna would be on sale, you know, for 49 cents or 35 cents, and I'd fill up the whole trolley. And I remember, you know, a good 6 to 9 months straight eating only tuna 7 times a day. That would be the only food that I would eat, you know. So we definitely kept it lean and mean in those years. And we kept the high intensity training, the drop sets, the giant sets, super sets, still maintained the cardio, still did the Kremenovich crunch every day. And, you know, you and I both proved to many people, if you want to maintain that percentage of body fat, like you're probably 5%, 6% all year round, still now to this day. I like eating junk food here and there, so it's a little bit different, but we definitely, you know, walk the talk back in those days.
Yeah, no, lots changed. I mean, back then, obviously, there was no cheating. That was the perception, and like things like fats were like, do not touch fats when you're prepping. And I remember that was a real struggle because you're on low carbs, low fat, high protein, and it's just just a mash up in your head trying to survive day to day, daydreaming about junk food and when you're going to have your next meal. So it's a long process, and as you said, we lived and breathed it and wanted to learn and come up with our own methods, and I think we kind of nailed it this year, despite many of the critics and experts saying, no, it can't be done, you guys are going to fail. Yeah, so it was a good trip for the two of us, getting it right.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the Wellington show, I wanted to compete in classic physique for the first time. At that stage, I had to weigh under 77 kilos, which I haven't been for probably the last 15 odd years. So that was a good challenge in itself. And with the prep, you know, we had the cheat meals in 2 days a week. We had the high protein, the high fats, and sort of the moderate or very low carbs. And I felt I was able to still train twice a day weight. So I still did my fasted weights every morning for an hour 15. I still did, you know, sometimes you have me doing 1,200 calories on the treadmill each morning as well. And I still managed to maintain the training in the PM as well, an hour weight. So we like to keep the calories high for me, obviously high protein. This time was high fats, and we really went super low carbs. And I still managed to train for the 3.5 hours a day and stay nice and full. Energy levels were good. You know, I can still run the business be the dad, and train. And it ended up being, obviously that 12 weeks for that Wellington show. And because I had to weigh under 77 kilos, we decided to go for conditioning. Don't worry about trying to maintain size and be full. Let's just try and be as lean and as shredded as possible. I ended up weighing 74 kilos on the day, which, I haven't been since high school pretty much, or even when I...
That's like when you're driving down the highway and you see a fat sheep that hasn't been sheared yet. That's the way you're looking at it.
There has been, Sean. That's after you cut the wool off, bro.
That's Sean
92
with not
kgs, and then all of a sudden I got Sean. I got Sean, and I was that skinny little freaking lamb on the side of the road, sheep on the side of the road.
Sean,
but yeah,
Sean the sheep got shredded. Shane the sheep got shredded.
But I think, we learnt from that process. Mission was accomplished. I weighed in 76.4, I think it was. So I was just under 77. But then through the day of the competition and carving up really hard to go for that dry condition look, I ended up losing another 2.5 kilos. So it was mission accomplished from a conditioning perspective and pushing my body as far as we could go. But then personally, for the way that I like to look myself a little bit fuller, we changed game plans for nationals, but got the 2 golds, one first in the bodybuilding, which was classic physique first, and I was under 77 kilos. So I won that, and I won the overall classic physique. And then I did a bit of a sneaky, backdoor entrance in the Masters. I was like, I went to the Masters. I'm 40 now. I can go in the Masters and might qualify for the overalls. And you never might know. Go up against some of these big boys and have a crack at the overall in the bodybuilding. And I ended up winning overall in the bodybuilding as well, based on conditioning. So it was a good day at the office.
Yeah, and as you said, the clear target from the start was to get shredded as possible. And I think we achieved that. And me personally, a lot of people that know me know I prefer that shredded look over, that bulky look. But that's just me. You have to adapt and adjust and bring what the competition requires each time. But the funniest thing for me was, is it harder to get shredded or harder to bulk up? Shredded is the answer. That's the hardest thing to do. And we achieved that. And a lot of... Well, not a lot, but people did give me feedback saying, "Oh, you guys, missed the mark. You're too shredded. How are you going to come back to the nationals?" And for us two personally, it was a bit of a laugh because we were like, "Man, shredding's the hard bit. Filling out is not going to be that hard. We're going to come to the nationals and we're going to come with a statement." And a lot of people were like, "Nah, you can't do it. You guys that's the highest you've gone, and that's it. That's the end of the road." And it was a bit of a giggle. For the two of us, but yeah, I mean, if you
100%, I had a lot of people saying, "Man, you were shredded, but you didn't look as good as you did last year. Man, 74 kilos, how are you going to come back to nationals?" Because I competed at 80 kilos on stage last year. But it was strategic. We changed our nutrition plan and our training plan specific to be that condition, and that's what we went for. And we knew what we would have to do to adjust it to come in bigger and fuller. So
yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people were like, "Oh man, DJ said this. Another coach would have done this." What's funny? I'm not competing against anyone. The two of us aren't competing against anyone during prep. Me personally, every coach is doing the same thing. Every coach is trying to achieve a certain goal for their client or partner. That's a given. But to me, the challenge is what I see on that picture, on that phone, and improving. Because let's face it, no matter what you write during a check-in or feedback to your coach, the body can't lie. The body will always show its current state. And, if something's been done different to a plan, it will show no matter what. And that's where the problems happen. If the coach or the person prepping doesn't see it and doesn't react in the right way, there are going to be problems, because you got to have some sort of foresight. And people in the emergency services and military call it situational awareness. What that means is when you see a problem or you know something's going to happen, you react to it before it becomes worse or before it actually happens. So if I see someone coming in too hard, obviously you've got to counteract that. If someone's not, at the mark they need to be, you've got to put in some actions, change the dial, change the plan, training plan to match. So that to me is the biggest challenge. It wasn't like what's he or she doing different to us. Like that was never the question. The question is what we're doing and what we're going to achieve and how we're going to get there, regardless of what anyone said. And that was a pretty good challenge from that respect.
Oh, I was absolutely stoked from the goal that we set. The mission that we set out at the start of that 12 weeks was to weigh in just under 77 and go on stage as absolute conditioned as possible. And if that meant we had to sacrifice some muscle to be leaner, we were prepared to do that. I committed to that. We improvised as we went along and we hit the mark for what we set out to do. And, people don't know what our goals or our plans are, and what challenges we have in front of us. So from that point, we did everything that we said we were going to do and executed it perfectly from my perspective. So we won, the Wellington overall classic physique and bodybuilding. That was the last time I was ever going to compete as a bodybuilder. I just did it because I turned 40 and I wanted to compete in the Masters. Threw those chunks away. The challenge ahead was 3 weeks to nationals, where the weight category for my height had increased to 79 kilos, which was cool because I competed at 80 kilos last year, so I know that I could bring a nice full physique at that weight. But then also I had to go to Las Vegas for the Mr. Olympia with Nutrition Systems, and then also LA. We had some meetings in LA. So I was away for 10 days, 2 weeks out from the nationals and the opportunity of earning a pro card. So we dieted and depleted extremely hard for Wellington, knowing that I had 43 meetings in Las Vegas over 3 days that I would be able to maintain or grow into the comp, which a lot of people don't know or understand. So I was prepared to go down to 74 kilos and get my body fat as low as possible, sacrifice a bit of muscle if I could, knowing that I had 3 weeks to full out for nationals, and that's what we did. That was a mental and physical challenge. That was part of the journey that I said to Juro, hey, we'll do this 12 weeks. Don't forget I'm going to be in Vegas and LA for 10 days. That's going to be tough. Let's build that into our long-term plan for nationals.
Because traveling with no, like if you're not a sports person, just travel, that takes a lot of out of you. A, you're out of your comfort zone. B, you're not obviously eating on time. And C, you get mucked around. Check-ins are late, flights are late, and don't forget as well, as soon as you take off, you're going to retain water, and that's quite obvious. I mean, next time you're on a flight, place a bottle of water in front of you on a seat and watch what happens. The bottle sucks in and then sucks back out when you land, and that's what your body does too. So you do suck in a lot of water during the flight, then you got to try and get it out and then back into a routine. So traveling alone is pretty hard work. But B, getting ready for a comp and traveling is like the two worst things you could do. You're basically not supposed to travel when you're preparing for a show, especially that close out. I think you were 2 weeks out at that point.
Yeah, 2 weeks out, and we had 43 odd meetings. So, basically the plan you set to me was prepare all your meals for the flight and on the way over. So, on the plane where everyone's eating the airplane, I had probably 7 meals, fish, broccoli and avocado. So everyone's eating their bacon and eggs or whatever for breakfast on the plane, and I open up the smelly container of fish and I'm eating that. That's the level of commitment and discipline you need to have. So from the time I left New Zealand until I landed in Vegas, I'd eaten 7 fish meals with avocado and broccoli, and my breath stunk, and I had all these smelly containers, and I think no one liked sitting next to me on the plane, but that's what you got to do.
So Back to the shopping trolley days full of tuners. Just take
Yeah.
the shopping trolley onto the plane.
But you know what? I usually traveling to the States, I have the worst water retention and bloating. So I'm usually good to put on a couple of kgs, from that flight to Vegas. And I'm usually bloated for the first couple of days. So, you said to me, eat the meal, stick to the fish on the way over, easy digestion. You won't bloat as much. As soon as you get off the plane, get straight to the gym, do a workout, do some cardio, reset your body, and then stick to the plan. And the plan was pretty simple for us. It was carbs first thing in the morning with breakfast, and then basically 0 carb for every other meal during the day. Nothing was planned, and then I had either a protein shake or a protein bar if I needed to, just to keep those meals regular. You said I had to do 1,000 calories a day minimum per day. I was up at the gym opened at 5 a.m. at the Wynn where we stayed, so I was up at 4:30 a.m. 5 o'clock I was in the gym. I trained from 5 till 6 weights, and then 6 till 7 was cardio. If I didn't complete the 1,000 calories in the morning, I'd go back at night time, and then we had our first breakfast meeting every morning at about 7:30 a.m. and then it was meetings every hour for the remainder of the day, and then we'd have 3 dinner meetings, usually say 5:30, 7:30, about 9 o'clock. Get back to our room 10:30, 11, and if I hadn't finished my my cardio, me and the Habibi Yusuf, the director of sales in Australia, he'd come and help me out. He'd train with me the whole time. I'd go and finish my cardio, and if I wanted to do some extra weights, I'd do the extra weights. And I maintained that, the whole course of that trip every day without fail.
I'm going to have to beep out a lot of this because you're just giving secrets away for free online on the air.
But you know what? I saw my body react and respond. I did not stress, and I said this to you, and I said this to you at the time. I'm not going to stress about counting calories, or as long as I'm eating a super high amount of protein and I got enough fiber and stuff for digestion and that, and good fats, I'm going to be sweet. And that's what I did. And you know what? I ate the first 3 or 4 days in Vegas were hard. I ate as much as I can, and if I didn't get time because meetings went for there might have been 4-hour sort of intervals where I didn't get to eat or longer. I'd have a shake or a bar, or I'd try and eat, and then as soon as I could eat again. But once we got to LA and the meetings were a little bit more relaxed, I ate so much food. Danny and Yusuf, they couldn't keep up with me. My metabolism was so fast from pretty much 16 odd weeks of dieting at this point. As soon as I ate a meal, I would be hungry again, and I would just eat, and it was just all, good food. And I think that really helped. I went from 74 kgs, I think I got up to 82 and a half by the time I'd got back to New Zealand. So it ended up being pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, and it was good too because, as you said, you're quite lean, and you could afford to fill out. Whereas most people after a comp, and many of you may not know this, you could put on 5 kilo, 10 kilos in a week. If you're not careful. And imagine if that happened. Imagine if you finished the show, at a heavier weight and put 10 kilos on in your travels and came back and had to lose like 10 kilos in 2 weeks. It was just mission impossible. It would have been shut the gates, hang up your undies, and let's try again next year.
Well, I there was one particular show that I put on 10.5, 11 kgs. Remember that? And in Sydney, post-comp, I put that on in a few days. So we were aware of what could happen, and you set the plan, and I stuck to it. And the cool thing was, too, in LA was, we trained at Gold's Gym every day. So the Mecca was full. There was a lot of good fit bodies there training every day. And so that was good motivation. And I do know. We went to Muscle Farms head office for some meetings, and we got to train in their facility, and they had the DEXA scan machine, which is the truest form of measuring internal and external body fat. And I tested 6.6% body fat on that, and it was one of the lowest readings I'd ever had at the headquarters. So at that point, when the DEXA scan's telling me I'm at 6.6, and I knew 2 weeks prior in Wellington I was even leaner than that, and I'm just relaxed on my dieting and stuff. I'm sticking to the plan, but I'm not, everything's not measured and weighed, etc. I knew that, hey, if I'm 6.6 now looking like this, I'm going to be fine. Just stick to the plan. But it was good training at Gold's Gym at 6.6, looking quite full and lean around some of the best, bodybuilders and trainers in the world, and sort of holding my own in that gym. It was cool because that was somewhere I watched Pumping Iron every single day, growing up, when I first started lifting, etc. And to be training there and be in that type of condition, and, people sort of recognizing you and acknowledging you was a cool experience.
What a way to prep for a show, huh? Go to Las
bro, it
Vegas.
was cool, bro. It was cool. I'm not going to lie. It was awesome.
So, yeah, then you came back and won the Nationals, so New Zealand National IFBB, took out the Classic, and in the process became a pro. So that means no more amateur comps for you, buddy. Well, what are you going to do in 2019?
Well, that was another experience in itself. I had to weigh in under 79 kgs. I weighed in 78.9, so 100 grams under, perfect. And then the judges said, Shane, you were good in Wellington, but you're a bit flat. You need to be full. We want to see the biggest, sort of fullest version of Shane that we can on the stage. I weighed in, called you up, said, what do we do? And you came up with a plan, said, this is what we're going to do over the next sort of 12, 18 hours. And we stuck to that. And I ended up going on stage just under 82 kilos. So I made weight and then filled out, a good 2.5 kilos odd, and went on the stage super full, which was a 7 kg difference between, or 7.5, 8 kg difference between Wellington on stage and Nationals in a 3-week period. So we brought two different bodies to the stage. I was nice and full, condition. The Grisby quads got me home on that bad boy, and there was 40 odd competitors in the men's classic physique class. So it was the best of the best in New Zealand, and to win that in good company, Tiari Tawera, but he looked amazing. There were some really good athletes on that stage. There was a guy, Dylan, who was a freak as well. Just some really good athletes. So it was awesome to stand amongst them and be super competitive. The Ginger Shred Man was looking good, and then, to win my class and then also win the overall, was awesome. And then, obviously my family are there. Odette, Georgia, Jada, and Jax, they train with me. They help. They eat the food with me. They come to the comp. So the whole experience was awesome. So plans now is to compete as a pro. I've won my pro card. I'm not just going to call myself Shane_NZ IFBB Pro or Shane IFBB Pro.
And see you later.
I am going to compete as a pro, and I do intend on bringing my best ever physique to that pro stage. It might not be in 2019, might be in 2020. But yeah, I do plan on competing as a pro. That's another challenge in itself. And the beginning of this year, I decided to compete as part of my personal goal to be in the best shape of my life at 40 years old. I haven't trained specific to a bodybuilding competition for a year or for 2 years, everything's sort of been, okay, bro, 16 weeks out, I want to compete in 16 weeks or 12 weeks. Like, can we do it? And you're like, fucking A, we can do it. You need to start now. Are you eating pizza? I go, yeah. Are you eating donuts? Yeah, all the usual. Cut that shit, bro. And, next week or the week after we'll start. So, I've changed the way that I eat. I changed the way that I train a little bit now. And I'm focused on working on my weaknesses, for a year or for a year and a half to bring my best physique to the pro stage. It's a different kettle of fish now.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I wasn't there at the show because I never got invited. But I was getting feedback back from Shane's buddy, Solo Chef Tyson, and Shane's wife, Odette. And I was like, oh, man, I have to change the diet. And I wasn't saying much, and I was like, "Hey, what's in the fridge at the hotel?" And she'd be like, "I've got chicken, I've got fish," and I was like, "Cool, we're gonna need that. But is there any shops close by?" "Yeah, why?" "Go and get something else for me." And every meal was like, "Nah, we're not doing that. Scrap it. We're going to A, B, and C." So we kept changing every meal.
Every hour we changed, like based on the way that I looked. I'd send you the video. You're like, "Yep, cool. What do you weigh?" Bang, boom. Okay, this is what you're eating now. I don't have it. We'll go and fucking get it. You know, like, and that's what we do. Is every hour and a half for that, a day and a half. I said, "Hey, bro, here's how I'm looking. All right, this is what you need to do." And I remember being a little bit. I tried to pretend I wasn't stressed. I was stressed. I remember you actually being stressed, even though you were pretending not to be as well. But your confidence and how comfortable you were and what we were doing, relaxed me. And
let me just
and I remember saying to you,
jump
bro,
in.
I remember saying to you, bro, stressing out right now and struggling now and panicking now is going to make it all worthwhile. This is what we're going to look back at and laugh about and make it worthwhile when we get the results. You know what I mean? So fucking let's just do it. Okay, now you can jump in.
I'll jump in. I got a call from Shane saying, "Man, I need to put on 2 kg. Can you do it?" This is what I'm going to do. And the stuff that Shane told me was like totally the opposite of what I was going to do. And I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool, bro. Good luck."
Yeah,
you know what
exactly
you're doing. And there was a long pause, and you were like, "Is that all you fucking got for me?" It's like,
"That's what I'm going to do." And you go, "Okay. Is that it?" I go, "Yeah." And you go, "Good luck." And I was like, "Is that all you fucking got?"
And
Good luck.
And then I was like, "All right, get this down. Buy this, this. And you were like, yep. And you're in the car, and you turn around and you go, "Everyone got that?" "Yep." And I go, "Repeat it back to me." And then no one could get it right. And I was like,
repeat it back. I go, "I don't know what you fucking said. Did anyone hear what he said?" And then
everyone's like, everyone's trying to guess. Yeah, everyone's. I think he said egg, mince, avocado. Did you say rice? And it was like, "Let me just email you."
Chicken. Can you get fish? I was like, "Oh shit!" But it was frantic, and it's part of the process. And as much as I tried through all your experience and mine to be relaxed, it was a little bit stressful. But I didn't let that. You set the plan. Okay, boom, this is what we're going to do, and we stuck to it. And that was. I came in fuller, 82, whatever it was, 82 and a bit on stage, whatever. It was the heaviest I've ever been. I was nice and full. I still managed to keep the conditioning to a level that you and I like, usually a little bit dry, but I think the overall physique was pretty good.
Well, the listeners can be the judges for themselves. It's plastered all over Shane's Instagram, so go to NSNZ boss. Is it _boss? And check them all out. I mean, you're going to be there for days checking them out. But on a serious note, yeah, that was a crazy.
Be there for years. I'm going to keep posting this shit up for the next couple of years, bro.
Wait till the professional shoots are finally done. That's just going to keep going on for centuries. It's just, it reminds me, we used to have a DVD that I had mixed, and it was so bad. Like, in the mid-2000s, there wasn't any good digital mixing software, so it was pretty bad. And we had our Body Beyond best of Duro and Shane's comps, and we used to play it at every gathering, every family dinner, every family lunch, Christmas, birthday parties, and it was all like, every day at these events it'd be like, "Hey, have you got the DVD?" "Yeah, play that shit." And all the women and the kids were like, "Oh, not again, not again."
And the kids, yeah, we had it on loop at all of our stores. It was just on repetitive loop, so I just play round and round and round all day.
It was fun, but yeah, that was crazy. That was the best package. And I mean, if you look at the two comparisons, Wellington, and then look at the Nationals in Auckland, which was, I think, 3.5 weeks apart, 3 weeks apart.
3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, the before and after is a good shot. We'll probably post it up on our feed as well. It's just incredible to see. And to me, that was my favourite package ever. It was unbelievable. But as you said, it was non-stop. And just for the listeners, I'm known as Mr. Cool, Vanilla Ice. I never stress. So when Shane said I was all stressed and that, and acting that I wasn't acting. I was cool. I was ice cool.
Whatever you think, bro. That's the first time I've ever actually heard fear in your voice, but you pretended it wasn't there, and you realigned, reset strategy, and we executed. So it was good. I think now that I'm 40, though, like I did notice personally, from being up around 100 kgs at my heaviest, and then going down on the 74 kgs. The skin and the body, my skin doesn't adjust like it used to when I was younger, and the body, everything's a little bit slower compared to, when I was younger. That's just part of it. But I did find, I heavily relied on the supplements a lot more in this prep, than I have in others. I've always used a lot of supplements, but I definitely think, because I trained fasted, having my pre-workouts, and my fat burners intra workout, was another key that helped as well. Whereas I've never really used my first 5 or 6 comps. I never used fat burners really in prep. You
never used fats, and that's just going back to what we spoke about earlier. I mean, if you're not listening and adapting to what's happening around you, that's where problems happen, and that's important as well. When you're being prepped or prepping yourself, if you have something written down and you follow that to a T, which is very important, you have to be prepared to adjust and adjust correctly. And now, if that's not happening, things are going to go wrong. And a lot of the stuff we spoke about earlier, that prep week was an open page, basically. It was like, this is kind of what we're going to do, but we're going to adapt, and we're going to adapt I didn't know it was going to be every hour, because it's getting caused every hour, but that's what had to happen, and it happened, and we were prepared for it. So as you say, you're 40 now. I mean, I'm 44, and like if you're not listening to your body and adjusting, and as you said, you can't say, well, back in 2005, I did this, and I had a donut, and it worked, and I had a sip of wine, and boom, don't rely on that shit. You have to adapt, and if your body's changing, and it is, your metabolism slowing down, you're taking different supplements. Supplements are different out in the market. Food availability is different, and there's more access to the foods we eat, like in the health industry. Whereas before, man, as you said, it was a struggle. It was a trolley full of tuna that was on, $1, and man, that thing tasted like cardboard. So adopting.
Even stuff like adapting, and I changed. I have free range chicken and free range eggs. I swapped the tuna out. The old days of canned tuna would be like a blue cod or something. Like even having the higher quality, obviously a little more expensive food, I definitely saw that transition into the way my physique looked as well, just from the quality of the food.
So when you go to your egg supplier, a free range chicken is a chicken that's had its ass waxed, so it's free range.
It's had a Brazilian, but I'll be honest. You can buy normal chicken from the supermarket, and if you cook that on a griller, like a George Foreman grill, for example, as opposed to free range, when I cook normal chicken,
you can tell.
The water comes pouring out of it. You've got these liquid, like white liquids that come out that are preservatives and stuff that they pump at the chicken and make it fuller to weigh more for when you buy it, so it costs more. The preservatives come out, all the extra water comes out. You might cook 500 grams of chicken breast, and you weigh it in, and it's like 250. Like you lose 50% of the weight of the chicken through the preservatives and water retention, etc. You cook free range chicken on the griller, man, nothing comes out, bro. You know what I mean? It's so, and then you eat it so just tender and moist, and it's just a different quality. So it is definitely noticeable. Even the difference between the free range eggs or the caged eggs, we've got a bit of land and stuff, and so we got some eggs off the farm, and just the yolks, that the color of the eggs when you're cooking them and stuff, they're a lot brighter, a lot yellower. So it's a big difference, you know.
Yeah, even the shell's different. Like it's when you break it, it breaks differently, and it's different. It's harder and so forth.
Well,
so it's you can tell the difference.
And it's higher, you know, if you're on a high protein diet, you know, you can tell the quality of the food is high. It's higher protein. You're going to absorb more of that stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, man. That is a big thing, and it is real.
And then with the subs, just going back to that, adding in the fat burners into it, I would train fasted every morning, weights. I would have my pathogen, either pathogen, wreckage, C4 Ultimate, something, a high quality pre-workout that's got a lot of citrulline malate in it, you know, beta alanine, you know, some good comfortable stims and some caffeine to get me going. And then I'd have 2 scoops of the Ghost Pump. Me personally, I don't train to be stimmed out of my head. I train, you know, for quality and for the pump. You know, I want to do a couple of sets and my arms be blasting out of my lumberjack shirt that I'm sort of
tablecloth.
Yeah.
Shirt.
So, and then the other product that I always use a lot of is the Clear Muscle from Muscle Tech, which is liquid freeform HMB. And I've found on that I stay a lot fuller, you know, I recover a lot faster, and obviously it helps with protein synthesis. So I know I'm absorbing a higher amount of protein. But I think the other key that I added in this time was OptiBurn from Platinum Labs. I would mix a scoop and a half of that into my intra workout with BCAAs and glutamine, and then I'd have the Dr. Keto, and I would find that I could sustain the intensity of my workout the whole time. I wouldn't be overstimmed. You've got all of the you know, the fat burning ingredients in the OptiBurn, the acetyl L-carnitine and all those types of things, but also the paradoxine that just makes you, it's a thermogenic, so keep your body temperature warmer and make you sweat. And I think adding that into my intra kept the intensity at max the whole workout, and then I also had the benefits of you know, producing more fat burning hormones and burning a higher percentage of body fat through the intra, and then still the recovery from the glutamine and the BCAAs, because you're fully vasodilated from the Ghost Pump, your bloodstream's open, your receptors are open, and you're absorbing all those recovery ingredients. So that combination, that was primo for the whole prep. And I could do that in the morning, fasted for an hour, then do my cardio anywhere up to 1,200 calories, get to work all day, and then go back to the gym and have the exact same formulas and smash out workout in the gym in the afternoon as well. So I know that helped out, and just goes to show our subs work.
Yeah, and definitely, and it was designed for your goal specifically. And again, you can't just be taking stuff because, you know, person A, B, and C said that they're taking it, but, you know, what is their goal? What is your goal? Is it aligned? So it is important what you're taking and when you're taking it. We were going to do a whole session on supplements, but we ended up speaking 45 minutes about Shano, so we might as well keep going with that.
Oh, no. Well, if we're going to keep talking about me, you know, what we're doing and where we're starting, where we're going, etc. That's the sort of competition side of things. As I've mentioned through social media and some of our podcasts, beginning of this year, I set the goals to be in the best shape of my life at 40, which led to competing, which we just touched on. Also running my own bodybuilding show. You know, competitive sports and bodybuilding is the passion that led me to the business side of things, through the supplements and through nutrition systems, of our relationship of owning the retail stores, Body Beyond, and then that progressed into distribution, nutrition systems, Australia and New Zealand. And bodybuilding is that passion that introduced me to the business side of things. So I wanted to get back into giving back to bodybuilding. You know, met with the president of the IFBB, Mo Masawi. You know, we hadn't been, how do you say it? We hadn't worked together in the last 10 years. I wouldn't say we were best of friends. You know, we came to a mutual agreement in the best interest of bodybuilding for New Zealand and what I could contribute and add to the federation. And, you know, I had my own show in Palmerston North. and that was a massive success. For our first show, I think we had 350 to 400 people come and watch the show. Really high quality competitors, and we've locked that show in again for next year. And that is March the 23rd in Palmerston North. And then we're also Nutrition Systems as the naming right sponsor to all 11 IFBB shows next year, and we're also the major sponsor of the Pro show in March the 9th as well. So, that's exciting, and I'm happy and proud to be a part of that. And I'll also be judging at the majority of those shows as well. So it's just good to be back amongst that bodybuilding scene, contributing and trying to add, a positive influence to the culture and to the federation.
Yeah, I think you've proven that, in more ways than one. And as you said, bodybuilding's our passion, but what's pretty cool as well is when we were into it, I probably started a little bit earlier than you. It was considered totally weird. If you walked around with a shake or you meal prepped, people were like, "What's wrong with you? Are you sick or something? Why are you carrying your food with you?" Now those same people 20 years on are like, "Oh man, can you tell me what to eat? What do I shake up in that bottle?" And it's like, dude, why do you think I was doing it 20 years ago? So I don't end up like you. Now, with problems, can't eat this, and obese and diabetes and so forth. But the cool thing about bodybuilding is it's crossed over into many other sports, especially professional sports, whereas it's a vital part of training and preparation and maintaining for the most elite sports people. We call it bodybuilding, but anything in the gym, when you're lifting weights, dumbbells or barbells, or, on a cardio machine in the gym, that's critical and a vital part of all sports now. So it's pretty cool that, it's expanded and people are recognizing, because the funny thing is a lot of stuff that bodybuilders were doing, even in the 70s and 80s, other sports, even medicine's recognizing now, because I remember watching a story a couple of years ago on Australian TV where they said hospitals have discovered that glutamine is a great repairing supplement, and now every person that comes out of surgery will be receiving glutamine. And I looked around the room, scratched my head, and went, hey, wait a minute, we've been doing that for 20, 25 years. Yeah. That's the cool thing about bodybuilding, where it's headed, and how people accept it, especially females now. They're walking around with bottles, they're training, they're not scared to go in the men's section. Because you remember back in the day, there was a women's section. And if you walked in you got blasted. It was like, hey, that's the women's section. Get out of there.
Women's only gym. Yeah. New Dimensions had a women's only section at the gym. And from the bodybuilding perspective, seeing the bikini class come in for the females, and then there's a men physique and classic physique. There's categories that are more achievable to the mainstream person. It's not just about, a big bodybuilding freak in a pair of undies or Speedos. And that's cool. There's categories. There's the fitness, the fitness and figure categories. There's categories achievable to everybody, and that's what has really brought me back into the bodybuilding scene. It's not so niche now. It's a lot more achievable for everybody, and being involved with people and helping them, create the best versions of themselves and achieve goals or dreams has been cool too. And then, like you said, from the sports or elite athlete side of things, from when I first came back to New Zealand to where we are now, we've just signed the New Zealand Warriors rugby league team. So we're the official nutrition supplement sponsor with Muscle Farm for them. Obviously, we just re-signed again with the Hurricanes. We've been supplying the All Blacks on their current tour. And then all the Super 15 teams, the New Zealand Sevens teams, men's and women's, Silver Ferns, pretty much every elite professional sports team in New Zealand is using some form of supplementation, predominantly Muscle Farm, because it's all batch tested and approved. But just the growth and the recognition and awareness about the benefits of being healthy and supplementation for recovery and gains it's awesome.
Yeah, it's next level now. That's the beauty of it. And as you said, when you're part of it indirectly, through supply or giving recommendations out, to any person, in the gym, and that it's pretty rewarding, and it's accepted, which is the big part now as well. It's not like before where, remember the days when you and I used to do meal plans and say, hey, what do you want to do? Lose weight. Here's a weight loss stack, a pre-workout, fat burner, lean protein, and on top you're getting a diet, and people look at us and go, what do I want that for? Oh, you need a diet. Oh, no thanks. It's for free. You can take it. No, thank you.
Oh man, that was like 15 years ago. We were doing.
I could not believe
meal
that.
plans and specific supplement stacks for people and stuff, and now it's just so mainstream. And that's why the Grisby Fitness app, just to jump on to Grisby a little bit, the whole reason and passion behind Grisby is not just for people that want to compete, not bodybuilders or elite athletes. It's just for mainstream people like my friends, my close immediate family and friends. There's still a lack of knowledge around nutrition and training, and daily in the gym, every single day I was getting asked, hey bro, what should I eat? What should I drink? What supplements should I take? How many days a week should I train? Do I do cardio? Do I do weights? Fasted, afternoon, etc., etc. And that's why I created the Grisby Fitness app. So we're actually going to run, hopefully it'll be available next week. We're going to run a 1 week free trial on the Grisby app. And the reason I want to do that is I just wanted people to learn about what it is and to get on it. So they can learn about what it is and actually just go through the processes of the training programs that are for them and the nutrition plans. Because I know once people get started on it and sort of see what Grisby is offering, then they'll be away. So we've got the 3 different packages on there. We've got a body transformation, which is a nutrition plan designed for you, and a sort of an entry-level training program. And then we have the Grisby Fitness, which is my training programs that I've developed over the last 4 or 5 years, which is giant sets, with cardio, and then also a nutrition plan built on whatever your goals are. And the nutrition plan is all based off whether you want to gain muscle, lose fat, and you get all your meals actually on the app, so you can see what to eat, what the quantities are, etc., etc. And then we have the 12-week personalized prep, which is a one-on-one intimate coaching with DJ, with you, Juro, which is more for the people that really want to be held accountable, day-to-day sort of communication, and then you can see exactly where they are, manipulate and move things on a week-to-week basis. So I sort of call that a little bit more military style, whereas people think that they can eat donuts and shit like that. Well, they certainly can't. So once people sort of learn and know a little bit about it, that's why the free week, that's why I'm introducing a free week, just to get on it. And then I know they'll be away. But that's the passion behind it, just helping people understand how to train better, how to eat better. We've had a few hundred people on the app and do the 8-week shred and the 12-week preps for competitions and just for whatever goals in general. And some of the results that we've had have been unbelievable. Like some of the people you've helped, Juro, Sean, for example, just unbelievable results.
The funny thing is too, like that 8-week shred group. So we've got a private chat going on Instagram, and just randomly, like these are people that most of these people have never seen inside of a gym. They've never dieted, so these are absolute beginners. And on the other side of the coin, there are people that have been there, done that, but haven't really maintained, and have kind of lost track of things and put on some weight. But I sent a random, this is going to be interesting, more so a social experiment. I'm like, hey, let's try and burn 7,500 calories as a group, within 3 days. And it was like, in a day and a half, it was achieved. And I was like, this is insane. So remember, I upped it. I said, okay, let's do 16,999, which was 17,000, in a week. They smashed that in 3 days. So then I said, okay, let's just do 69,000 in a week. And I've no doubt that the group is going to smash it. But the hardest part of that wasn't the actual cardio. all the mix-ups started happening when people were attempting to do the math. so
the mathematical side of thing was harder than doing the cardio.
That was hard because you had to.
We did 35,000 calories combined as a group in 4 days this week, and the 25 people that are on this 8-week shred, I'm not going to name any, but there was 3 or 4 people initially that signed up that said, I hate cardio, I'm not doing any cardio. And we said, okay, we'll manipulate your nutrition and your training around that. If cardio is not your thing, don't worry about it. We'll change things up for you. And the interaction and the motivation through the group, 2 of those people this week, I've seen them do between 700 and 1,200 calories, in that day and record it. And one girl told me she would not be able to do over 300 calories. She did 770 calories today. So the group has been, like you said, from a social experiment, all the feedback I've had is how positive and how energetic it is. And you can tell and you can see daily, everybody is pushing themselves past barriers that they've never done before. And that's why some of the results we're seeing, I know one girl's lost 8 kgs. I know one of Odette's best friends is on the Grisby app. She's lost about 12 kilos. Tyson's wife, Kylie, she lost over 6 kgs in about 3 weeks. So
Tyson took the 6 kg and put it on himself.
Put it on. Kylie lost 6 and Tyson put it on. But just through each other, keeping each other accountable and motivating each other, and you jumped on there and said you do 1,000 every day, no brainer. As soon as you set that target, I jumped on that day, I did 1,000, and then everybody else beat you and me. So, collectively we're all helping each other be better versions of each other, and there's so much reward in what we're doing. It's the most satisfying part of what we do at the moment. One of the most satisfying things of what I'm doing. Sean Kitching, he's lost I think 37 kgs in total. But in the last 10 weeks, that transformation, and he's been doing the one-on-one coaching with you, the DJ 12-week prep. Oh, mate, unbelievable the results he's got.
Yeah, and again, that's a guy that's like never done that before, and then, no, I probably can't do this, can't do that. Next minute, he's like, I want to be on the cover of a magazine. I want to be competing. I want to own this shit. It's like... people come out of their shells in a big way too.
Well, he hadn't been to the gym for about 2 or 3 years, and the only reason he went to the gym was he won a membership on the radio. I can't remember what it was, 120 odd kgs or whatever he got up to, and 115 odd. I think he's 70 something now. But when he started the 12-week prep with you 10 weeks ago, he signed up at the gym. He goes, if I'm going to do this properly now, he'd lost 29 kilos to that point. He goes, I'm going to sign up at the gym. I have seen him at the gym every single day since, and I've just seen his body transform. But the body to the side, mentally, he's just like, bro, I'm so happy. I've got so much energy. I can play with my kids every day. My wife thinks I'm hot. I'm getting action a couple of times a week now.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different, he's just a whole different person all the way around.
He's funny. He said to me, he's a painter by trade. So he does interior design. He paints walls and makes houses pretty. And he said to me, do I really need to go to the gym? And I said, well, can you paint a wall without dipping your roll in paint? He goes, no. And I said, well, you can't lose weight unless you go to the gym. And then every day it was like, hey, bro, making sure that roll's getting wet. Is it wet? And he's like, yep, it's wet. Perfect. Keep going.
And other relationships that you have and your banter and your humor, no one else in the world's got that shit, bro. And that's where people, so far everyone that signed up to the 12-week prep or signed up to you as a competition prep coach or even in this 8-week shred, we've only had results. Every single person, it's probably 50 or 60 so far already, has stayed the course, from start to finish, and the results have been there. So, hats off to you for that. And that's why you've prepped me for every show, and that's why, you've always been my go-to. As soon as, I don't know, you're fucking funny as fuck, but I just know if I'm cheating or if I even contemplate cheating or think about cheating that you're all over me. You can tell straight away, and that relationship that we have, you've been able to adapt that for every other individual that signed up, and I've only heard good things the whole way. So I appreciate that, bro.
Appreciate that, man. But you have complained, so it's not like no one's.
I'm
ever
allowed to
complained.
complain, bro. I'm the fucking boss. I'm the boss. I'm the boss, man.
And just to clarify, it's not military training, so don't be scared. It's not military training. That's a whole different level. If you want military training, we'll give you military training, but it's not.
Nah, it's good, and it's good that we've been able to come back together after 10 or 11 odd years and work on something together that we love doing and we're passionate about, and we're helping people, and people are getting genuine results. And it's just good. So I'm looking forward to the future of Grisby. The app is actually killing it. It's going really, really well. The most rewarding thing is just people's feedback on how it's changing their lives. And the clothing, I got some singlets in that landed yesterday. Did up a bit of a post and now sold out. So everyone, thanks to everyone that's supporting and loving the Grisby movement. We'll just keep pumping out the positivity and keeping it Grisby.
Keeping it Grisby. What does that mean again?
Oh, bro, it just means that you're just going to be beautifully shredded and gangster swagging from the inside all the way out. So you're good, you're positive, you don't speak no plato, you're gangster on the inside and you're gangster on the outside. So you're swagging all over. That's what it means.
Nice.
Just before we go, talking about my modeling career, I said to Odette in the gym this morning, because I put a lot of work into certain areas of my physique, over the last few years. And I'll be honest, I didn't burn any calories this morning because it took me about 20 minutes to take a good selfie with my koala and creatine shirt on. So, but I said to Odette, looking at my physique, babe, where would you say I've made the most improvements, hoping that she would say my chest. And she looked and she goes, are you serious? Are you fucking serious? I go, yeah. And she goes, honestly? I go, yeah. And she goes, your eyebrows. I think your eyebrows have taken nice shape over the last... I was like, thanks. It means a lot. So, yeah, that's all I got out of that. My eyebrows are in nice shape now, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, beauty therapists make a fortune from eyebrow waxes and trims and reshapes and tinting, so that's a huge call, man. Congratulations.
It's all about being a new age, sensitive guy and keeping it fresh and Grisby. And the first time I got my eyebrows done, I was with Flex Lewis, and I think we were in Sydney, and he gets his eyebrows shaped, and he was like, bro, your eyebrows are messy, bro. I think you need to tidy those up, bro. I was like, yeah. And I looked at his, and I was like, yeah, yours look pretty good. Anyway, we went to, I think it was at the casino. You got us a room at the casino, and there was like a little barber shop in that there, and they did our eyebrows. That was the first time I had.
They were expensive too, man.
I was like about $120 to get a fade and our eyebrows done. But long story short, man, I got big, bushy, thick eyebrows. They thinned them out, man. I look like chicks' eyebrows. And then it's probably taken me 5 or 6 years to fill them back out. Keeping them maintained and then fill them out a little bit, because I was getting that growth where I looked a bit tranny, they were a bit too thin. You get a bit of growth, and I just wasn't feeling it. So, it's 4 or 5 years to recover, so I'm happy where I'm at from an eyebrow perspective. And then yesterday, I saw my mum. She come down to watch Jax play touch, and she was looking at me a bit weirdly, and she's like, what are you doing with your hair? I was like, what do you mean, what am I doing with my hair? She's like, something's different about it. And because I'm usually like a skin on the side and zero on top. I was like, I'm growing it out. I'm going to grow my hair on the top back. And she just goes like, why? She goes, why? She goes, give it up. She goes, your hair's all grey. Give it up. Shave it off. And I was like, all right, sure, mum. So,
well, mum's know best, man. You got to listen to mum.
I don't know if I'm going to make the Just for Men cover. We might have to take my mum's advice. Mama Shirley, she keeps it real.
I'd love to talk about hair, but that's kind of out of my department. Has been for a number of years, probably a decade.
Well, actually, we're all about adding value. We better give the viewers one last thing before we leave. Juro was a very consistent advocate for Regain, or Rogaine, Regain, whatever you want to call it. So he was pretty much bald on top and he had a little bit of fluff on the top. He was pretty proud of that. Get a skin up the side and you try and level off the top. He was trying to hold on to a bit of a bum fluff, Dolph Lundgren flat top look. He was using the Regain, I don't know, a couple of years. And I remember when you ran out and you go, bro, I've run out of Regain. I was like, bro, that shit don't work anyway, man. You're just wasting money. It's like $200 a box. You're like, yeah, mate, you're right. He goes, what do you reckon? Shall I buy another box or just see what happens without it? I go, don't waste your money on it, bro. Don't buy another box. Just don't use it, man. It doesn't do anything. Well, about 3 weeks later, you were totally bald. Your head was so tiny. You didn't have a hair on your head. So, I think I probably fucked up on that one, bro.
You did fuck me up. Not just then, in many ways.
And
But,
you and me went to Issa's barbershop for a haircut. And you had no hair on your head, and I got a fade, and you sat in the chair after me, and Issa looked at you, and you go, just doing my eyebrows, bro. Do you remember that, bro?
I'm still recovering from that, man. Now I have to get my eyebrows done on a regular basis because that guy just shaved me.
Fade them up, bro. Fade them up.
But Shannon mentioned tranny, which is a bad word to use right now. Like, that's like a cross-dresser. So that's what we say, cross-dresser. But I've got a funny story about Shane and cross-dressers. We were in Sydney Central, like right in the middle of the city in peak hours. So it's like lunchtime, business hours. And Shane and I just trained a client. And Shane insisted on us wearing red short shorts. Pretty much the same ones they use in Baywatch, but tighter, like real tight. Anyway, we're in the city amongst suits and well-dressed business people waiting at the lights across the road, and up comes this Volkswagen Beetle convertible with 4 cross-dressers. They're all guys dressed as chicks, and they're just singing and just having a blast, and then one of them goes, oh my God, there's Shane! And at that moment, if the earth could open so I could just disappear, I would have taken that option out because everyone's just staring at us. And
that's actually a true story.
And then it turned out I knew one of them as well, and they basically pulled up.
What do you mean? You knew all of them. They just knew me through you.
But they called you anyway. Let's not get too much into detail. Anyway, basically we got verbally raped at those traffic lights. And then Shoney goes, what the hell, man? Let's get out of here. I go, no, stuff this, man. One of the guys was a restaurant manager at the casino, and his name was Arthur. And I was like, Arthur,
yeah.
I go, Arthur, fuck this. Give me some restaurant vouchers after all this, man. And he's like, how many do you want? And I was like, give me your whole book. So yeah, we were violated at those lights in peak hour during a lunch break, like busy. I'm talking tens of thousands of people witnessed that. And then 30 minutes later, we're fine dining, aren't
we?
Free
fees, bro. Free fees. All good. Uncle Arthur, I used to call him. Bro, Uncle Arthur got the hookups. Hi, Shano. But, yep, it was all good, bro.
Well, I think we've run out of time, and I was going to talk about myself, but let's just skip that part. Maybe do it in the next, 10 or 20 episodes. But no, thanks for listening, and sorry that we were away for so long. It's been a busy period, but next episode's coming up. We're going to talk a bit more about our industry, supplements, training, preps. We have more guests lined up. So once again,
we've got some good guests lined up. Flex Lewis, got a couple of we've got Monty Beetham, a couple of the guys in the All Blacks and some of the Warriors lined up and stuff, as well as some bodybuilders and high-profile athletes out of the US. So, yeah, we're definitely going to keep it fresh in Grisby.
So thanks for listening and supporting and all the positive messages we've been receiving in the downtime. Really appreciate it. You guys make this happen. Thanks for listening.
Sure. Stay Grisby.
Boy.
Hey, yo, check it. The hour power. POD cast is upon your ass. Spitting on the mic is the NZ boss. And his homie DJ NZ the odds. Yeah, don't twitch, don't snitch, don't switch. Just open up your senses. And now listen to the hour power. To the hour power.